Right now, a local teenager is being credited with saving an elementary school student. What he did that has him being recognized for his actions. And an employee opens fire on his coworkers. New information tonight on this workplace shooting outside Chicago. Plus, Madison's mayoral primary is next week. We will hear from the candidates, their message to voters straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
And thanks for joining us. Charlotte is off tonight. An 8th grader from Jefferson Middle School is being honored after an act of bravery. Our Adam Duxter joins us in studio with why what he did has adults so proud of him. Adam?
Well, Eric, for teenager Jake Rose, it was about being in the right place at the right time. It was also about knowing the right thing to do that helped him save the life of a friend. 8th grader Jake Rose is spending his Friday night doing one of his favorite things.
Go upstairs, play with my dad, or play Fortnite.
And while loving video games might make Jake seem like any other teenage boy, his parents say he's not your average kid.
Jake's kind of one of those kids that he always wants to help. Doesn't really matter what it is.
And it was Jake's desire to help that couldn't have come at a better time, when a normal day playing along the Crawfish River in Jefferson took a scary turn for one of Jake's friends.
We would always go up there by the ice or by the river. And I look back over and I see him over there and he stomped on the ice and he fell right in.
It was a split-second decision that Jake describes as one of the most scary moments of his life.
Thinking to myself, like, is he gonna die? Am I gonna die? Are we both gonna sit there with nobody there?
But in that split moment, he knew exactly what to do.
I go over there quickly and I grab his hoodie and then his cousin comes along trying to help, but I tell him to stay back.
Jake describes what he did as nothing special. His stepdad says it's not unusual for him to avoid the praise.
It wasn't like he was looking for any kind of special recognition or anything like that. He just, you know, that's just part of Jake. That's part of him.
Later this month, Jake's school will honor his life-saving actions. But today, he has a message for anyone else thinking about playing by the river.
I would say have a couple buddies with you, because if you fall in, then you're probably not going to know how to get out. But if you have your buddies there, then they can help you get out.
I also spoke with Jake's principal today. She describes him as a silent leader, always looking to help and do the right thing. She said she's glad he's getting the recognition he deserves, but also hopes this could be a lesson for other kids thinking about playing on the ice.
All right, Adam Duxter reporting. Great story tonight. Adam, thank you. We also have the story of a woman who had to be rescued from Lake Mendota yesterday. Emergency crews called to the lake near Spring Harbor Park. This was about 12:30 in the afternoon. They found a woman lying on the ice about 75 yards from shore. They say she was walking her dog when she broke through into waist-deep water. Firefighters tossed her a rope. They were able to pull her to safety. We turn things over now to weather. We are in for yet another chilly night with wind chills back below zero, but it will gradually warm up as the weekend goes on. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield, our first alert forecast on the backyard patio. Dave?
As we head into tonight, we are looking at the WISC-TV Skycam overlooking Madison, and we still do have those clear skies in place. Temperatures are in the double digits tonight, so I guess that's something to celebrate. At 10 degrees, north-northwest wind at 7 miles per hour. Doppler track is showing some clear skies. Nothing really to talk about just yet, although the radar picture will be a little bit busier as we head into Sunday. Temperatures in some other spots in the single digits in Lone Rock and Boscobel, Platteville as well. In the double digits in Janesville and Monroe, just above 10 degrees. Wind speeds have calmed down, especially compared to where they were at this time last night with some gusty winds as a cold front came through, but still making it feel closer to 0 degrees across southern Wisconsin. Temperatures will continue to fall through the single digits, close to 0 as we start off our Saturday morning. And as we head into our Saturday, highs should make it back into the mid-20s, so a little bit warmer by tomorrow afternoon under partly sunny skies. We'll talk more about an alert day in the forecast for the threat of some accumulating snow by Sunday in your News 3 Now First Alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Governor Tony Evers has ordered flags to be flown at half-staff tomorrow in honor of a Milwaukee Department of Public Works employee who was hit and killed while on the job. 54-year-old Brian Rodriguez was filling potholes last Friday when he was hit by a car and pinned to his truck. First responders took him to the hospital, but he did not survive. Authorities said the driver took off on foot from the scene. They still have not tracked that person down. Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says a particularly toxic batch of heroin is circulating in the Madison area, leading to a spike in overdoses this week. Chief Koval wrote in his blog today, since February 7th, they've responded to 11 overdoses. 2 people died. He says there were a total of 11 overdoses and 3 deaths believed to be related to heroin overdoses last month in January. Still an active scene tonight. This is Aurora, Illinois, Chicago's western suburbs, where a gunman opened fire at a manufacturing facility this afternoon, killing 5 people, injuring 5 officers. The alleged gunman, identified as 45-year-old Gary Martin, was killed. Police say he worked at that facility. The 5 officers who were shot have non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they do not yet know the motive for the shooting and have not identified those killed in the attack. A Sun Prairie High School teacher took to Facebook to talk about how she felt uncomfortable doing what she calls a forced presentation to promote Black Lives Matter. The teacher brings up how they're neither for nor against it, but felt uncomfortable promoting it without talking about how Blue Lives Matter as well. Some parents said the post was insensitive and missed the point of the entire presentation that was given to students.
Maybe putting themselves in an African-American shoes and how that would feel to hear your teacher, the person that you deal with on a regular basis, come off and say, well, I'm really thrown off by this and I'm off put because I had to teach about Black Lives Matter. To me, that's not a strong way to build a better relationship with your students.
Now, we did reach out to the school district. They said they are not commenting at this time. 2 NFL players have reached a settlement agreement with the NFL. Colin Kaepernick, the former 49ers quarterback, and Eric Reed, now with the Carolina Panthers, both say their teams were keeping them from playing. They started kneeling during the national anthem, protesting what they believe are racial injustices and police brutality in the U.S. The NFL and an attorney for the players announced today the matter is resolved, but that the agreement will remain confidential. The packed race for Madison mayor will be dwindled down to 2 after next Tuesday's primary. Our Keeley Arthur spoke with the candidates and has their goals and visions for the city.
Former Alder Satya Rhodes Conway, current City Alder Mo Cheeks, and Raj Shukla, an executive director of a conservation group, sharing why they want to be mayor of Madison.
For the past 13 years, I've been the managing director of the Mayor's Innovation Project, which is a national learning network for mayors and their staff. So it is literally my job to answer questions from mayors from all around the country and help them work on policy and programs and implementation.
I am the executive director of a statewide water policy group. We have worked with legislators of both parties across the state to craft legislation and advance clean water policy from everywhere from Oneida County to Marathon County to the Fox Valley to the Central Sands. Because of that role, it's my responsibility to articulate a vision, to lead and manage a talented team of professionals, and to make really difficult decisions when your budget and your priorities don't always match. And that's what we have facing us right now.
My experience leading in the public sector, my experience leading in the private sector, and my experience being an advocate for our schools uniquely situates me to be able to address this ongoing challenge that we have as a community of this sort of tale of 2 cities, right? And that's what we're working on here in Madison, is trying to live up to our progressive ideals, and I'm ready for that job.
Write-in candidate Toriana Petaway, who fell 1 signature short on her nominating petitions, serves as the city's racial equity coordinator. She says she wants to have a bigger impact on the city.
I started working in this position, and I realized that the impact that I am trying to have inside was not what I thought it was going to be. And as I worked, I realized that, I need to be leading. I need to be leading at a higher level.
Longtime Madison Mayor Paul Soglin, who served terms in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and back again since 2011, touched on his leadership in a number of ways, including racial equity within city employment, as just one of the reasons why he is qualified to continue.
The city took steps backwards in the 14, 15 years that I was gone in terms of our own policies in regards to hiring. If you look at all the folks that I've hired in department and division head positions, and the way we've reinvigorated recruitment, for diversity in city employment. We've made tremendous strides.
Keely Arthur, News 3 Now.
Nick Hart was unavailable for the interview. The primary vote again is next Tuesday. The two with the most votes will advance to the general election, which is April 2nd. For more of Keely's interview, you can go to channel3000.com. The first lawsuit has been filed tonight, challenging the president's national emergency declaration to build his wall on the southern border. This declaration will give the president $8 billion for constructing a steel border barrier. Before he declared the emergency, Congress passed a spending bill to keep government open, only including $1.3 billion for the wall.
Sounds like a lot, but it's not so much, although we're putting it to much better use than it used to be.
And the bulk of that money will come from the Defense Department budget, including $3.6 billion in military construction funding. New tonight, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's office says former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort deserves between 19 and 24 and a half years in prison for his conviction on several financial crimes. The 69-year-old was convicted by a jury last August for bank fraud, tax fraud, other financial crimes related to the money he earned working for Ukrainian politicians. However, the sentence will be up to a judge alone, who has not yet set a date for that hearing. And a judge has placed a gag order on Roger Stone and those involved in his criminal case. The judge is restricting the longtime associate of the president's from talking about his case in and around the federal courthouse. She's also ordered attorneys to refrain from public comments that could bias a jury. Stone facing 7 criminal charges. He's accused of threatening a witness, lying to a congressional committee, and obstruction of justice. A former U.S. representative from Texas who may be considering a run for president in 2020 made a pair of stops in Wisconsin today. Democrat Beto O'Rourke spoke at Milwaukee Area Technical College, hearing from students, learning more about the role of technical colleges in the state. He then came to Madison for a meet and greet with UW students and faculty. The event was closed to the media and general public, but we were able to catch up with him afterwards about why he's visiting Wisconsin.
As I try to make a decision about how I can be most helpful to the United States right now, I want to make sure I'm listening to everyone, not just those that I know in El Paso and in Texas, but everyone, including going to places that are forgotten or overlooked or have not been visited enough or are only thought about in calculations as you accumulate electoral votes or you think about the next election. I really want to just meet people where they are.
He has not yet announced a presidential bid for 2020, and these stops in Wisconsin just his latest in a listening tour across the country. He also recently made such stops in his native Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Colorado. When it comes to the 2020 election, political science experts say our state will be a key player because it's one of a half dozen battleground states.
But Donald Trump carrying our state in 2016, I think, definitely showed any Democratic candidate in 2020 they can't take Wisconsin for granted. So I think we'll see a lot of the Democratic field in 2020, not just in the primary election, but also then in the general election.
O'Rourke isn't the only one traveling to Wisconsin this early either. Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar will be in Eau Claire tomorrow. She announced last week she will run for president. And still ahead tonight at 10, an inside look at some of the features of Madison's newest fire department, station, and law enforcement officers freezing for a reason. We'll go to tonight's Polar Plunge when we come back. Welcome back. Although it has been operational for about a month now, the southeast side of Madison is officially celebrating the grand opening of the city's newest fire station. For years, people living in that part of town had to wait 10 to 15 minutes for emergency crews to respond, and since Station 14 opened, response times have been down to 5 minutes or less. And in addition to serving as a station, the state-of-the-art facility was constructed to serve as a community meeting space, a training center. The community room can even be reserved for public use. It will also serve as a classroom for future fire academies and continuing education. The department is also making multiple cancer prevention efforts with the new station, including special washing and drying machines for gear and a detoxification sauna. Several local law enforcement agencies were freezing for a good reason as they took the plunge into Lake Monona tonight. Personnel from the Dane County Sheriff's Office, other local agencies participated in the 3rd annual Law Enforcement Plunge. It kicks off the Madison Polar Plunge, one of 12 plunges across the state, benefiting Special Olympics Wisconsin.
My oldest sister, Deb Carls, is a Special Olympian, has represented Greene County Special Olympics for numerous years. So growing up, Special Olympics, the regional track meet was a big part of our family, and this is an opportunity for me to give back.
There they go. The Polar Plunge will continue tomorrow morning in Olin Park with more plunges beginning at 11 o'clock. Roughly 1,000 are expected to take the plunge. A snowstorm near Kansas City paralyzed drivers there today. Look at this video. This was posted on Twitter. State troopers spent the day responding to dozens of crashes. And look at this, just one after another. This eventually resulted in a 15-car pileup on I-70. Dozens, unfortunately, were hurt. One person lost their life. The entire interstate was closed for several hours while crews worked to clear that crash scene. Dave Caulfield joining us now, and we are going to feel some very frigid temperatures here overnight, Dave.
Yeah, temperatures definitely are going to be close to 0 once again across southern Wisconsin. That video just shows you the reason why you really have to slow down in adverse weather. A little bit of snow coming our way, but we missed that system to the south across southern Wisconsin. We could see where it is now moving through St. Louis and causing some rain, snow, sleet, and freezing rain to portions of southern Indiana into Kentucky and Tennessee. For southern Wisconsin, we've been clear all day. High pressure has been overhead, bringing us lots of sunshine, but some chilly temperatures throughout this Friday. Our snow depth right now about 3 to 6 inches of snow still on the ground for much of southern Wisconsin, with some locally heavier amounts out there. However, we could add about 1 to 3 additional inches of snow by the time we start next week. A live look in Madison, the Edgewater Skycam. Mostly clear skies tonight. The almanac for today, the high was 20 degrees, but we actually spent the afternoon in the single digits and teens because that temperature happened right around midnight as that cold front was coming through last night. Still, though, about 10 to 15 degrees below normal for this time of year. Because of that snow on the way on Sunday, already our friends across northeastern Iowa are under winter weather advisories from about midnight until we get into Sunday evening. An alert day also in the forecast for about 1 to 4 inches of snowfall. Most of that right now looks to fall towards the state line and specifically closer to southwestern Wisconsin, where the forcing just looks a little bit better with this storm, but we'll continue to keep our eye on that. Temperatures are in the double digits in Madison, 10 in Mineral Point as well, 11 in Monroe, but a little bit chillier closer to southwestern Wisconsin. Still, though, about 15 to 20 degrees colder compared to this time yesterday. If you need a helpful reminder, maybe of some warmer weather ahead, we are double News 3 now. We are 33 days away from the start of spring, and that can mean a lot of things in southern Wisconsin, but it's something to look forward to, that's for sure. And 1 less than 3 is 2, and that's where temperatures are going to get to as we get into the overnight hours. Very cold, partly cloudy. For tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures in the mid-20s, so a little bit warmer, not quite as cold under partly sunny skies. We'll start to notice some changes in the weather by the time we get to tomorrow evening. That's when clouds will be on the increase from the south and west. That snow starts to overspread southern Wisconsin by the time we get to Sunday morning, and bringing light to moderate snow to the area throughout much of the day on Sunday, wrapping up by early Monday morning. We're still thinking about 1 to 3 inches of snow for much of the area. Some isolated spots close to the lake and also close to the Mississippi River could see a little bit more in the order of 4, possibly even 5 inches of snow. But we'll definitely keep an eye on that. We're keeping an eye on the 7 to 10-day forecast as well, an alert day in the forecast for Sunday for the threat of that minor accumulating snow. Then temperatures are a little bit below normal, but not too bad as we head into next week. Another chance for some light snow arrives on Wednesday. It does look right now that the next couple of systems headed our way for southern Wisconsin really don't make a major impact on travel, which is good news because just system after system have been impacting our morning commutes, our evening commutes, any type of commute. So it'll be nice to hopefully get a break this time.
It's just a little snowfall over here and there. That's pretty typical. And those temperatures look more normal, too.
Right.
Okay,
exactly.
Thank you. Badger men's hockey team finally has something good happen in 2019. This story from South Bend, next in sports.
The WIA State Boys Swimming and Diving Championships are at the UW Natatorium this weekend. The usual schedule: Division II competition on Friday, Division I on Saturday. A number of local winners in Division II tonight, including Fort Atkinson's Jeremiah Mansavage. The senior wins the 50-yard freestyle in 21.9 seconds, follows that up with another title in the 100-yard freestyle, 47.49 seconds. But Edgewood, the big story tonight. The Crusaders' 200-yard medley relay wins the first swim of the night. Then Nate Frucht wins the first individual title, 142.26 in the 200-yard freestyle. And Edgewood Junior Truman Tedites keeps the good family name going. He wins the 200-yard IM in 151.84, takes the 100-yard breaststroke in addition to 2 wins and 2 relays. Edgewood, the runaway winner in the team race in Division II. It's the Crusaders winning their first state team title since 2014 with 289 points. That's 105 more than second place Monona Grove. Baraboo 5th, McFarland 6th, DeForest 12th, Fort Atkinson 18th, Whitewater is 19th. And earlier in the day, Edgewood's Ben Stitchin won his second straight diving title. Stitchin won it as a freshman last year. He wins it as a sophomore this year, edging Cedarburg's Garrett Gonwa for the state Division II diving championship. 2019's been kind of a disaster for the Badger men's hockey team so far. In the first 11 games of the year, 1 win, 8 losses, 2 ties. Tonight, the Badgers start the weekend at 15th ranked Notre Dame, and Wisconsin's power play has been pretty lousy lately, but tonight it clicks for the first goal of the game. Linus Weisbach pounces on a rebound, power play goal, 1-0 Wisconsin. Notre Dame ties it later in the first, but the second period, look at this rush. Brock Caulfield carries it in. Roman Ashan taps his stick. Caulfield puts it right there, and that's the game winner for the Badgers. Final score, Wisconsin 2, Notre Dame 1. Badger women's hockey gets its weekend off to a good start at Minnesota Duluth this afternoon. Emily Clark scores twice. Presley Norby, Annie Pankowski also get goals. Final score, Wisconsin 6, Minnesota Duluth 1. The Badger men's, as we said, won at Notre Dame tonight as well. The weather got a little better for the Brewers' spring training in Arizona today. It got into the upper 60s, but now it's going to get colder. High temperatures should be in the 50s for most of next week. The Brewers, of course, coming off one of their most successful seasons in history, getting 1 win away from the World Series. But as for 2019, manager Craig Counsell says last year doesn't mean anything.
This team, hasn't accomplished anything. This is a new team, and we've got to make our kind of own tracks here. We're going to have different challenges. There's going to be a different set of challenges placed in front of the team and in front of, these guys that were very successful.
Our next Prep Mania game of the week is Tuesday night when Sun Prairie visits Madison La Follette in boys basketball. John Boyle and I will bring you that game live at 7:15 Tuesday on channel3000.com. And some places in this world are actually playing golf. This is the first round of the PGA Tour Genesis Open. J.B. Holmes cruising along. Tee shot, 6th hole, 146 yards. He throws it past the hole and draws it back in, and that is a hole in 1. We'll have coverage of that Genesis Open all weekend long on CBS, and we'll be right back.
Temperatures will continue to fall into the single digits tonight, near 0 to start off tomorrow. An alert day in the forecast Sunday for about 1 to 4 inches of snow. Could be some slick spots at times.
All right, enjoy your weekend, folks. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10. Have a good one.